Our top stories this hour: the United States has sent Iran a proposal for a nuclear deal between Tehran and Washington, the White House confirms. Plus, the U.S. has proposed slapping 500% tariffs on countries importing oil from Russia. And Ukraine claims to have left more than 40 Russian bomber planes burning in a large-scale drone attack.
From coast to coast, every culture, every angle. This is Arise America.
Well, Donald Trump has had a very busy 7 days. On Monday, he threatened to redirect $3 billion in Harvard research funding to vocational schools. On Tuesday, the White House sent a letter to federal agencies instructing them to review the approximately $100 million in contracts the government has awarded Harvard and find alternative vendors where possible. On Wednesday, he had more to say on the matter still. When combined with other administrative attempts, freezing more than $3 billion in research grants and suspending foreign students from enrolling in Harvard, Trump's directives for some represent a frontal attack on one of America's most prestigious and wealthy institutions of higher education.
Well, you'll see. But I have to approve the final deal with Nippon. And we haven't seen that final deal yet. But they've made a very big commitment. And it's a very big investment. It's the largest investment in the history of the state of Pennsylvania in any deal, not just steel. And it's thousands of steel workers, and not only there, all throughout the country. So I think he's fantastic. I think Elon is a fantastic guy.
Well, billionaire Elon Musk bade farewell to Donald Trump in an extraordinary Oval Office appearance, sporting a black eye, brushing aside drug abuse claims and vowing to stay a friend and advisor to the United States president. As the world's richest person bowed out of his role as Trump's cutter-in-chief, the Republican hailed Musk's incredible service and handed him a golden key to the White House. But Trump insisted that Musk was really not leaving after a turbulent 4 months in which his Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, cut tens of thousands of jobs, shuttered whole agencies and slashed foreign aid. But many people who were more interested in the livid black bruise around Musk's right eye.
The Doge people, Elon, are staying behind too, so they're not leaving. And Elon's really not leaving. He's going to be back and forth, I think. I have a feeling. It's his baby, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of things.
You said just now that you look forward to being a friend and advisor to the president. So do you expect to continue advising the president and Doge informally, or are you going to sort of shift your focus entirely to your companies?
Well, I expect to continue to provide advice whenever the president would like advice.
I hope so.
I expect to remain a friend and an advisor, and certainly if there's anything the president wants me to do, I'm at the president's service.
Musk, is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there was a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France, so.
What does that mean?
No,
I didn't notice it.
First Lady of France.
Slapped,
I didn't notice it.
I was just horsing around with little X, and I said, "Go ahead, punch me in the face," and he did. Turns out, even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does.
That was X that did?
Yeah.
X could do it. If you knew X,
I saw his mom right now. But I didn't really feel much at the time, and then I guess it bruises up. But I was just horsing around with the kids.
I didn't notice it actually.
Well, joining me from New York is Arise correspondent Kade to discuss Elon's impact on the American economy, if any, and the Harvard foreign students barred by the Trump administration. But let's begin with the issue with, of course, Harvard. Good to have you join us today, Rotimi. Let's start off with the issue with Harvard. Even if the courts, challenge, I'm sure you're following up with what is going on, but if the court's challenges overrule some of the actions by the Trump administration, some have already been put on hold. How is the impact being felt across the landscape of America's higher institutions?
Well, that's a very good question. I think that's the same question that's been asked all around the world for people who are in some ways looking at America from a different lens since the Trump administration. That question also borders on how many admissions Harvard is going to be having this current summer, or perhaps maybe fall and subsequent admission seasons. This is more like a tsunami, coming into the higher institution of learning. First of all, we know about Colombia, how the Trump administration clamped down on anti-Semitic Semitic, campaign during the Israeli-Palestinian Gaza war, and how much impact that has been, in the lives of the students and also in the university. This, in the long term, is going to stop, if not, the influx of foreign students, and perhaps maybe they're going to look for a better place, or perhaps maybe a country of equal standing with higher education, high quality education. But what Trump has done in the past few, perhaps a few weeks and few months from now, is trying to change the landscape. I think some of the demands are very, open book. They want to review perhaps the standard of admission. The Trump administration feels that they don't have enough conservatives among the Harvard professors, which of course ensued in what the administration termed to be a woke ideology that has engulfed the university so far. But again, we're going to be looking at how this is going to play out. Perhaps maybe we're seeing Trump, trying to place some sort of demands which in the long term could change the minds of Harvard and its professors, or perhaps the administrators. But what we're looking at is that is going going to lead more into a more chaotic situation, because it doesn't look like Harvard is going to be given up anytime soon.
Now, I would go straight to this question because a lot of people are asking. I'm sure you've come across that on socials as well, talking about Trump's, direct attack on Harvard because of his son, Barron. I'm sure you've heard about that. How true is that, with all the, international experts that have been to Harvard? They're pointing to the fact that, he's quite vindictive. Do you see that perspective? And what are people saying over there? Because we know that about 30 or quarter of the students from abroad make up the institution's, students.
Well, that is still within the realm of speculation and conspiracy theory. We don't have facts about whether Barron actually applied for Harvard and he was denied admission. I think a lot of, people are just cooking up stuff that doesn't have facts. If that's the real thing, or the real reason why the Trump administration is attacking Harvard, definitely we're going to hear from the White House. But what we know so far is that Harvard focuses on excellence. They get the best students from around the world. And when you look at the composition of students in Harvard, we could say a substantial amount of them are foreign students. In some cases, that's where they make most of their monies from, where foreign students have to pay almost double the amount a local or a U.S. citizen to pay. So Harvard is also going to be looking at, the options they have right now with these attacks from the Trump administration, and how they can source, because from what you said before, the Trump administration has actually called for a review of over, 10 billion or so contract, 100 billion, I should say, that's been awarded to Harvard to a different vendor. We're also looking at how the administration has also proposed a revision of the $3 billion research funding to Harvard, and how that could really downplay perhaps the efficacies of having education in Harvard.
Now, let's quickly move to Elon's Doge. How has that impacted the U.S. economy? And do you think that department was a success, being that amongst the Republicans now, it seems like what they really wanted to catch, with regards to that department didn't really work out. And I thought that particular appointment was meant to end January 6th. So that leaves a lot of questions in the air.
Well, that's a very good question. I think this time what we've seen so far is that Elon Musk has not met his goals in terms of what he promised before taking over the position. We understand that he said he's going to cut down almost $2 trillion in funding. A waste, as he said, within the U.S. department and agencies, but he's so far been able to do less than $1 billion. I think around 600 million or 700 million that he's been able to cut. And this cut has actually affected so many facets of the economy. Some people feel like losing the government employees who lost their jobs in the wake of these sweeping reforms by the Elon Musk Doge may have or perhaps maybe contributed to what we have right now, to the unemployment, to the economy, to investors not trying to help in taking away those joblessness within the job market right now. It's not looking good for Elon Musk at the moment, because when you look at Tesla stocks and some of his businesses, it's dwindling. And I believe that that's the reason why he's pulling out his service and focus more on his business, so that in the long term, obviously, he needs to make sure that his business comes first before serving the administration. But according to what President Trump said, they're still going to be communicating, which means that it could be in the background doing some of the things, but is not going to be the face of Doge.
Right. Thank you so much, Rotimi Kade, for joining us from New York to discuss some of these issues that's bothering America as we speak.